The number on the whiteboard is $47 billion. It belongs to a country of 90 million people. That country has 11 days before it cannot meet its external debt obligations. You are 27 years old and you are in the room, not observing, working. Your badge says Economist, Research Department. Your job today is to build the baseline scenario, not to save the country, to model what saving it would actually cost, and whether that cost is politically survivable. This is your first crisis. It will not be your last. You came here from a doctoral program at the London School of Economics. Your dissertation was on exchange rate pass-through in emerging markets. Nobody at your previous institution talked about it the way the people here do. The theory is the instrument. The building is on 19th Street in Washington, D.C. It does not look like power. It looks like an office block. That is intentional. You learn this quickly. The IMF does not advertise its weight. It does not need to. Your first year is almost entirely technical. You build models that feed into models that feed into documents which will eventually shape the fiscal framework of governments you have never visited. You work alongside economists from 35 countries. Some of them hold degrees from institutions that do not appear in Western rankings. Several are more capable than anyone you encountered in graduate school. The hierarchy here is not based on where you studied. It is based on whether your models hold under pressure. Yours do. That gets noticed in a quiet way. A senior economist copies you on an email you were not supposed to receive yet. That is what recognition looks like here. You work 11-hour days as a baseline. During a surveillance mission, 16 hours is routine. Nobody comments. The institution runs on the assumption that the work is the point. You produce a working paper on sovereign debt sustainability in sub-Saharan Africa. It is downloaded 4,000 times in 3 months. You do not know this for several weeks. Nobody tells you. You find it in an analytics report you were not looking for. By year 2, you are on a mission team. The destination is a lower middle income economy in Southeast Asia. Its currency is under pressure, reserves are depleting, and the current account is deteriorating in a direction the ministry has not yet disclosed publicly. You fly economy. You land in a capital where the finance minister is being described as incompetent in every newspaper on the stands. He is not incompetent. He inherited a structural problem that predates his government by 2 decades. Your team knows this. The press does not. That gap is one of the first things you learn to carry. Your team meets the Ministry of Finance at 8 in the morning. The deputy minister speaks carefully. Every word is measured. You understand that every word from your side is being measured with equal precision. This is not a consultation. It is a negotiation wrapped inside the language of one. Your role is to run the debt sustainability analysis in real time as new data arrives from the ministry. The data is incomplete. Some of it is inconsistent. You build around the gaps using proxies. You flag the inconsistencies in an internal memo. You do not flag them in the final document. That decision is made above you. You know that it was made above you. You filed it. The program gets approved. The country receives the first disbursement. The conditions require a reduction in the public sector wage bill and a restructuring of fuel subsidies. You modeled both. You know what the distributional impact looks like. The bottom 2 income quintiles absorb the majority of the short-term cost. The long-term adjustment is structurally necessary. You believe this with your analytical mind. Your other mind is less certain. You do not speak about your other mind. You fly home. The adjustment program will run for 36 months. You will not return. Someone else manages the subsequent reviews. Year 4. You are a senior economist. The title changes what you can do inside a room. You are now part of the Article 4 consultation process for a G20 economy. Article 4 is the institution's annual health check on every member state. For large economies, it is the most diplomatically sensitive document the IMF produces. You sit across from Treasury officials who have their own economists, their own models, their own version of every number you present. The negotiation is not primarily about data. It is about language. A single adjective in a published Article 4 can move bond yields before markets close. The word elevated in reference to inflation expectations is not the same word as rising. You understand this now at a granular level. Your job is to find language that is accurate and simultaneously survivable across several political contexts. This is harder than any model you have ever built. You become very good at it. That is the skill nobody mentions in the job description. Year 6. Mission Chief. A small open economy in the Caribbean. You are responsible now. Not contributing. Responsible. The program design, the conditionality structure, the sequencing of disbursements, the relationship with the government, with the regional press, with the development banks also involved in the financing package. All of it traces back to you. The country carries a debt to GDP ratio of 98%. It is not insolvent. It is illiquid. That distinction is worth $600 million and 24 months of adjustment. You negotiate the program over 11 days. You sleep 5 hours a night. On day 9, the finance minister threatens to walk away. You modeled this scenario. You know his government cannot survive the alternative. You sit across from him and say nothing for several seconds. Then you explain, calmly, what the alternative looks like in numbers. He does not walk away. The program is agreed. The press release uses the word collaborative. That is accurate. It is also incomplete. You fly home. You sleep 14 hours. You open your email in the morning. The next mission is already scheduled. Year 9. Division Chief, Washington. You are no longer going on missions. You are designing the framework that mission chiefs carry when they go. The policy on debt restructuring, the conditionality guidelines, the criteria for exceptional access lending. These are not abstract documents. They are the architecture that determines how the institution responds when a sovereign government runs out of road. You sit on internal committees where those frameworks are debated. The debates are technical on the surface. Underneath, they are political. Which creditors are protected in a restructuring? How much adjustment a population can absorb before the government that signed the program collapses? Whether the program in front of you was designed to succeed or designed to satisfy the board, you learn to identify the difference. You do not always have the power to change what you identify. You deploy the power you have with precision. Year 14. Deputy Director, Strategy and a Policy Review. The office has a window facing 19th Street. You can see the entrance you walked through on your first morning. The institution looks the same from the inside as it does from the street. That is either a sign of genuine stability or a warning you have not fully processed. You manage a department of 60 economists across 12 nationality groups. You have sat across from finance ministers of 23 countries. You have signed documents that restructure the fiscal architecture of 6 of them. Somewhere in those 6 countries, there are people who never knew your name, whose lives were reshaped by decisions that trace back to a room you sat in, a model you approved, a paragraph you cleared. You think about this in the mornings, before the calendar takes over. Not with guilt, with a kind of precision. The decisions were technically correct, most of them. The ones that were not were never yours alone. The institution carries them collectively. That is what institutions are built to do. You are finalizing a policy paper on sovereign debt architecture for the decade ahead. It will be read simultaneously by finance ministries, central banks, and the sovereign debt desks of the largest institutional investors in the world. A footnote in that paper will quietly shift how a particular class of creditors is treated in every future restructuring the institution oversees. The footnote is 7 lines long. It took 4 months to write. That is the work at this level. Invisible leverage. A career built not on what you owned, but on what you shaped. Not on what you earned, but on what you changed, quietly. In the architecture through which capital moves between nations when nations run out of options.